Welcome to our CloudPBX. This is an overview and introduction to our solution, and we trust we'll answer a number of the questions that you may currently have on your mind. In order to use our solution, what does your office need to have installed? Broadband line will be the main thing that is required. We prefer a fixed IP connection to your ISP, however, dynamic DNS or dynamic IP also works. Bandwidth, allow about 130K per concurrent channel or per concurrent call. So this means 4 or 5 people concurrently calling, you may need about half meg of your broadband line to be consumed by your voice traffic. Second thing we need is to purchase some IP phones. We recommend a brand called Yealink, which is now very popular and provides excellent value for the phones that are available. Consider the mix of models available and where appropriate select the right model for the purpose. Support for PoE is required, or you'll need to buy a power supply. What does support for PoE actually mean? PoE means power over Ethernet. IP phones do require power. They are supplied with, this can be supplied by a power plug, or alternatively you need to buy a switch, and today when you buy switches in the market you can request that they are enabled for PoE. Can we use the existing phones that you have in your office? No. Phones need to now be IP based phones and not your old keyline or digital phones. Can I use our existing cabling? Generally, the answer would be no. We must now use RJ45 and Cat5, Cat6. Same cabling as basically your computer system uses, or your PC. Now that the cabling uses RJ45, or the socket or the plug that needs to be plugged into your phone is RJ45, you can use a single cable between your PC and your computer. So this could be the socket on the floor that then plugs into your phone, and then we take a second cable and plug that into your PC. So in this way we can share a single cable with a computer and your PC. When I talked about different models of phones, this is an example of what a receptionist phone may look like. It has an extension bar that is attached to the phone, and this can allow the receptionist to see who's on the phone at any time before transferring a call. We also can support headsets. These can be done via plug and play or just auto detach, and you can walk away from the phone and the call will just go to music on hold. We also have wireless device that can support the Jabra and Plantronics, as well as a Bluetooth phone if you wish to use Bluetooth wireless options there. Cordless phones. We don't use Wi-Fi phones, but we use what we call cordless DEC phones, which are the same that you may have in your home. So we have one repeater box installed which has the RJ45 and internet cable plugged into it, and then it will send the signal out, and up to 5 of these cordless phones can be served by one repeater station. Another decision you may wish to consider is whether you want to use a Gigabit phone or a 100 meg phone. There is a price difference. The main reason you may wish to select a Gigabit phone, obviously they are more modern, and secondly, if you're sharing a single cable with your PC, then the signal will not be reduced to 100 megabyte as it moves on and passes the traffic through to your PC. What about your current phone numbers? How does this work? In Singapore, phone numbers can be ported from Singtel. This means they can be migrated to the cloud. In Hong Kong, PCCW doesn't allow for this. However, we can use something called permanent forwarding to forward your existing number to a new SIP number, and this can be transparent so you can retain your existing numbers. For faxes, we have a mixed opinion about this. We do think that many offices have a fax machine, so continuing to use your analog fax line may be appropriate in the short term. How does it actually work? Well, a CloudPBX must use what we call SIP trunking to connect your PBX to the PSTN. So the PSTN is the current telephone network that you use today. However, our CloudPBX is in a different network. That network is called the Internet. So currently the Internet and the public telephone system do not talk to each other. So what we need to use is a company that is called a SIP provider, and these companies are now all over the world, and they are able to connect the new world of IP or VoIP to the old world, which we refer to as the PSTN network. So they provide this gateway. There are providers in Malaysia, there are providers in Bangkok, in Hong Kong, obviously Japan, Taiwan, but there are some countries in Asia where this doesn't happen. For example, China, India, Vietnam, Philippines, Indonesia. This model also allows us to have what we call two offices connected to two different SIP providers. So in this example, you can see we've got Skype connected into our CloudPBX. We've got the SIP provider in Singapore and also Hong Kong connected. So this allows our Singapore office to make local calls, our Hong Kong office to make local calls, and if Hong Kong people are calling a Singapore phone number, the call would be routed through the local provider, thus it would be at local rates. And the same can be said about Singapore people calling Hong Kong numbers. For Skype calls, these are generally an incoming call only and are not able to make calls back to a Skype user. So what do the calls cost? Well, it's really up to the telco in your local country that you connect to. So in Hong Kong, of course, all calls are free in and out. In Singapore, inbound calls are free, but outbound calls are charged at 0.17 Singapore cents a minute. In Malaysia, inbound calls are free. Outbound is around 0.98 ringgit per minute. In other countries, it really just depends on the SIP provider in that country. So the phone calls themselves have nothing to do with us. They have nothing to do with the CloudPBX itself. The CloudPBX is the switch, and we can connect to one or multiple providers of telecommunications services throughout the world. Long-distance calls. Can we make long-distance calls? Yes, you can make long-distance calls, of course. Internal calls, given that everyone in your company is connected to our CloudPBX, would be free. So that doesn't matter where those users are based, whether they're in Japan, whether they're in Singapore, people could talk to each other within your company for free. Calling overseas or outside your normal country where your current SIP provider serves you, you now have the ability to connect to any SIP provider in the world. In the old way, you may only be restricted to using Singtel, StarHub, or PCCW New World Telecom, but in this new world, you can connect your system to any service provider in the world. We offer premium trunks that do offer a very low cost, and we do this with some US providers that have excellent rates on a global basis. Local providers in Hong Kong and Singapore also can provide you long-distance calls, but their rates may be slightly higher than what we could offer through our US premium couriers. Calls can be as low as 1.5 cents per minute, for example, when calling UK, US, Australia, or Canada. Virtual numbers. What are virtual telephone numbers? A virtual telephone number or virtual number is simply a telephone number that's not directly associated with the phone line. Virtual numbers are often used as incoming numbers only. A Singapore business could have a Beijing, Tokyo, KL, and Hong Kong incoming number mapped to our CloudPBX. These cost from around $10 per month per number. Mobile phones. This is one of the most frequent questions we're asked. Can I use my mobile phone with your solution? You can do that by installing a SIP client onto your smartphone. iPhone, Android, Blackberries are supported. We recommend the Briar Yellow client from Counterpath. We also recommend that you upgrade to their premium edition of their software and don't just use their free version. We expect quality of calls to be very good when you're connected to a Wi-Fi network. We expect mixed results when you're connected to a 3G, 4G network. There is a need to install dynamic DNS, as the DNS on your phone or the IP address of your phone will continue to change as you move between different networks. We offer limited support from our support team here at Cloud Solutions for mobile, simply because there can be an increased demand for support. We do have documents. If you follow these, you should have reasonable results. Can the Cloud PBX call 2 or 3 phones at the same time? This is another question I'm asked a lot. For example, if I have a phone at home, one in the office, and have a mobile, if somebody rings my office, can all of these phones ring at the same time? The answer is yes. We can do this by configuring your extension or an extension for each of your devices. You can then use a function called Follow Me that you can manage through the browser to control which phone rings and in which order. All phones can be configured to ring at the same time, or they can be done in a hunt, which means office phone first, then home, then your mobile or something like this. And then we have functions that can turn this on or off if you're in the office. Mobile phones can also be called via the mobile phone number of the device rather than via the SIP client. So this means you can actually forward the call to a landline number or a mobile number. What are the other options that we can actually use or enjoy? You can use Softphones. This means software installed on the PC rather than having a desk phone. We offer this and recommend you use the Briar software from Counterpath, and you would purchase the corporate edition of this software, and that will support things like call transfer, hold, call recording, along with excellent call compression. Generally, the free clients that are offered on the internet are possibly for home use and may not have functions like call transfer and hold, etc. There is another option that is a growing trend in the market at the moment. This is called Web RTC, and this is where you can use your web browser to have a plugin for a mobile phone. This is also supported by a Cloud PBX. So what are some of the features that you can enjoy from our Cloud PBX? This would be the main features people use from day to day when they're running a normal business. We have voicemail. Voicemail can be sent to a user's email. We have conference calling, ring groups, and call pickups. Ring groups means when the phone call is received inbound, we can ring a receptionist and then try another number, or we can ring 3 or 4 phones at the same time. Anyone can pick up, transfer the call. We have music on hold, call transfers, call recordings. We have IVR available. That means when people are welcomed by a recorded message and they're asked or prompted to press 1 for sales, press 2 for support, etc. Support calls can be forwarded to existing phone numbers, or it supports your existing numbers being forwarded to our system. We have a web interface for voicemail, and also mobile phone integration as discussed before. We also offer an extended package, which is a 25% premium on top of our base package we offer. The extended package will give you browser access to call logs and team management of your calls, and here you can listen to recorded messages, listen to voicemail, etc. So this browser interface supports the RTC that I was talking about before, and really is an advanced way to start managing calls within your organization. Can we test? This is also a question that we're often asked. Can we test the quality of the calls? We do offer test clients. You can download the free client from Counterpath just to do a quick test. It's not the client that we would recommend within a corporate environment, but to test the quality of a call, this is acceptable. We offer Singapore accounts and Hong Kong connections to test the lines. The best results would be to use or purchase an IP phone. We do support and provide the IP phones and would help configure these for any organization moving forward with our solution. Timing. How long does this all take to set up? Normally it only requires us 2 or 3 days. The main delay is the delivery of phones to your office. We need a couple of days to do that once we have received payment from you. Phone numbers also take a couple of days, but if you are porting existing numbers in Singapore from Singtel, you need to give Singtel around 10 working days for them to process that request. So that's really our introduction to our CloudPBX and the features and functions that you can expect, and hopefully we've helped address some of the questions that you may have in mind as you move to using VoIP within your organization. We can be contacted on any of these numbers, or you can email us at inquiries@cloudsolutions.asia. Thank you for watching this video.